Hi guys, it's Danny Campion here from the men's senior football team down in Fins. I hope everyone's doing alright during these strange times. Myself and some of the fine folk down the club decided we wanted to put something together to make sure that we're keeping the club and community spirit going over the next couple of weeks while we're not able to train and play together as we usually would. Especially if you're a player, juvenile, senior, camogie, football, hurling, whatever it is. At some point this is all going to pass by and we're going to be straight back into the season. So it's very, very important that you stay sharp, that you stay fit, stay healthy and stay motivated so when that time does come that you're ready to go. Even if you're not a player, if you're a mom or a dad or a brother or sister, club man or club woman, very, very important, especially if we're all stuck at home, that you stay as fit and as healthy and as positive as possible. Again, because when we return to normal life after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, we want to be able to dive straight back in and be as healthy as we possibly can. So this video is for everybody, not just for players, and hopefully we generate a good bit of club spirit and we get a bit of interaction back and forth as the videos go on. What we're going to have on today's video is Meredith is firstly going to talk a little bit about nutrition, especially when people are stuck at home and when you're not in your regular routine. It's very, very easy for food and nutrition to get a little bit weird and to start to slip and start to eat a little bit differently than you usually would. There's a little bit of panic going on about hoarding food and will there be enough food and all that kind of stuff. So Meredith's going to talk through a couple of tips and techniques that you can use to make sure that you're eating well, because it's very, very important obviously as part of your general health, but also if you're an athlete getting ready to play and train again. We're then going to have Noel, the strength and conditioning coach from the club, and he's going to actually walk through a full program that you can do at home with very little equipment needed, or no equipment needed in most cases. And as we go on through the weeks, he's going to change these exercises and make them a little bit more challenging as we get a little bit fitter and a little bit stronger. Again, anybody can do these exercises, so do get involved. He's put a lot of time and effort into the video, so give it a watch and see what you think. And then we're going to have a couple of players with some challenges for everybody to try. Niamh Ward has already put up a challenge, a hand passing challenge from the senior ladies team, so we can give that a go. We're going to throw it into the video here. Oisín Lynch from the men's football team has done a bit of a kicking challenge, right foot, left foot, so there's a bit of a kind of a competition going there as well. And then we have Hickey, the beast from the men's hurling team. He's going to walk us through a bit of a strength challenge, the Sally up press up challenge, which we'll throw in here as well. So hope you enjoyed the video guys, and I'll chat to you in a few.
Hi, Meredith here. I just wanted to talk to everybody a little bit about nutrition and what we're eating in the slightly challenging times that we're dealing with at the moment. We're dealing with a really unusual situation right now where the schools are closed. A lot of parents are based at home now, so we've got families confined to quarters together. We are stockpiling food where we can. Everybody's trying to visit the supermarket a little bit less often and buy more when you do go. So it's an unusual situation where we've got whole families confined to a home with absolutely tons of food in the house. And I think a little bit of guidance on how we can maybe navigate this difficult time might be helpful. So the kids who are home from school at the moment are bored, they're restless, they're a bit confused, they're probably not in a good routine yet. And I think often when kids are feeling a little bit like that, their tendency is to kind of go for the food as maybe a comfort thing, as something to kind of occupy them. So it's really important at the moment that kids kind of try and get a little bit in touch with what they're eating and why they're wanting it and how hungry they are when they want it. We're all moving less, so we probably actually need to be eating a little bit less at the moment, whereas most of us are probably eating more right now than we would normally because we're all stuck at home and we're bored. So I think it's really important for kids to just be a little bit in touch with whether you're really hungry or not, or whether you're just a little bit bored. And bear in mind at the moment that for the kids that the parents are a little bit stressed right now. So although there are big stockpiles of food at home probably, we don't necessarily want to be kind of eating through them really, really quickly. We want to be trying to preserve some of those stockpiles of food. So for the parents, if you have kids at home who are wanting, to eat constantly or to asking where the next snack's coming from, I think it's really important to try and get a bit of structure and routine going for families in general, but for kids particularly who are used to being in a very set routine and eating at certain times of the day. The key thing I think for everybody at the moment is to get enough sleep and to have a regular sleep pattern. It's really, really important for our immunity that we get enough sleep. But also, if you start to bookend your day by regular sleeping and waking times, you can then start to plan what's happening in the middle of the day too. So if you wake at the same time every day, you can have breakfast at the same time every day, and then you're going to eat lunch and dinner at the same time every day, and plan snacks in between. And if we're regular with all of these things and start to get a routine going, then I think the kids are going to be happier. They're going to know what's coming next. And we're all going to feel a little bit less directionless. So when it comes to planning what you're going to be eating, this is a really unusual time for families where you're very busy and the kids might be at school all day and then training in the evenings, and then the parents are at work all day, and busy families who don't often get to have a lot of quality time together. One of the things that we can do at the moment is to build in some quality time for everybody, where we're doing maybe the way we used to do a little bit more in the past, so a little bit of a more old-fashioned approach to eating and meal times, where the family can actually sit down together. We have the time to do that now. And if you do have bored, restless kids at home, it would be great to get them involved in meal planning. So maybe if families sat down a little bit more at the moment and just decided together, what meals are we going to plan for this week? What do we need to buy in for those meals? And then get the kids involved in helping to cook too. Everybody's at home, everybody's a bit restless. I think everybody's very focused on food at the moment, on the availability of food, on what can we eat next, because it's one of the highlights of the day for a lot of people who are stuck at home. So I think we can really buy into that at the moment and create some really nice family times where we're planning meals, we're cooking together in the kitchen, we're sitting down together as a family and eating together. Most people, I think, know the good rules of basic good nutrition, which is to eat lots of whole food, prepare your food from first principles, eat plenty of fresh fruit and veg. We might be a little bit worried at the moment about the availability of some food items, but a good tip is to, if you're planning in advance with what you're going to eat, you can cook, if you're cooking a particular meal, you can batch cook and then freeze a lot of stuff. Freezers are a really good resource at the moment. Also buy frozen vegetables as well as fresh veg that are going to last a bit longer. A lot of people are wary of frozen veg, but sometimes it can actually be better quality than the fresh vegetables that we're getting, and fruit, because fruit and veg that's frozen is done so immediately on picking, so there's no transportation involved. It's not going to spoil. So if you're going to stockpile anything, I advise stockpiling frozen fruit and veg, and then planning really carefully with your meal plans. But as I said, this is just a good opportunity to bring families together and to get people sitting down and enjoying food together, but also to become a little bit more mindful of what we're eating and whether we really need to. I think if we can stick to a routine where Monday to Friday it's our usual routine, so good healthy food, and then if you need to have something at the weekend that feels a bit more like a treat, you can do that then. But rather than kind of resisting the temptation to every night put our feet up with crisps and chocolate and fizzy drinks and things like that, and just get into a good routine for everybody's mental health as well as their kind of physical health, and a really, really good sleep routine, which is going to help with everybody's immunity. But just try and make the most of a little bit more better quality family time around meal times and meal planning.
Hi guys, today I'm going to run through a series of exercises that you can do, 2-day program. There's 9 exercises in each program. You can do this as a male or female, camogie, hurling, football, it doesn't matter. It's all stuff that'll help you. And for most of you that have trained with us before, you'll be familiar with these exercises, but we'd really encourage you to do them. So I'm going to run through them now, and then we're going to talk at the end about the type of running program that will complement this very, very well. Okay, the squat. Arms up in front, sit down nice and deep as you can go. Bring it back up slow, don't snap out the knees. Back down slow, and back up. The press up, there's a lot of versions that you can do. If you're not that comfortable with a press up, you can do them from the knees. Starting position, hips down, never bend your back. Get your body down towards the ground and back up slow. The more advanced version, up on your toes, all the way down, back up slow, avoid any dip in your back, and make sure that your bum isn't in the air. The next exercise is everybody's favourite, the plank. Forearms on the ground. We're going to do this one from the ground rather than the press up version. Feet apart, make sure there's no dip in your back, make sure your bum isn't too high in the air. Try and keep your tummy tight, pulling your belly button into your spine, keeping your head neutral as well. So we don't want our head down there. Try and hold this one for at least 20 seconds. If you want to make it a little harder, put your feet together. The next exercise is a lunge. It's a really effective exercise for strengthening your thigh, bum muscles, and even gets your hamstrings as well. The first one we're going to do now is a static lunge. In other words, we're not stepping in and out of it. One leg in front, opposite leg behind, both feet pointing the same direction. You can put your arms out if you wish for balance and as a target. Then we're going to lunge down nice and slow and take it back up as well. It's important we have both feet pointing the same direction, otherwise the two legs are doing the wrong thing. We want to make sure that the back leg is actually doing as little as possible. It's a front leg exercise. This one's the plank press. It's for developing strength in your shoulders and in your triceps. Your core gets a little workout while we're at it. Starting in the plank position, also known as an up-down plank, we're going to go up into a press-up position, bring it back down. Up, bring it back down. No faster than this. Once you've done 6, you can change and start leading with the opposite arm. Russian twist. Start with your feet on the ground. Put a little tuck in your lower back, so we're not going to be like this. Arms up in front, rotate, and then rotate the opposite way. When we get a little bit more used to that, we can bring the feet off the ground and then add rotation. This one is the bridge. It's an easy exercise, but it's still very beneficial. Feet apart, get your heels quite close into the bum, lift your hips up in the air. When you get to the top of the movement, gotta squeeze the bum muscles, keep your tummy tense, and back down slow. So it's a continuous movement, but it doesn't have to be too fast. Side plank, feet together, or you can put one in front of the other. Get your hips off the ground, push yourself forward so you're in a straight position. Put your arm up for balance, or even just to give yourself a target. Hold that for at least 20 seconds. The next exercise also has to be done slow. It's for your abdominals and your core. It's called the cycles. Knees together, hands out by the ears. As your feet separate, bring your left elbow towards your right knee, then change over to the opposite. Keeping your back pressed in, no faster than I'm doing now. Pick a target with your eyes, like a spot on the ceiling, and keep your eyes there the whole time, so that you're not doing too much movement of your head. So we're going to do 3 sets of all of those exercises. What you can do is literally go from exercise 1 to exercise 9, as you'll see in our program that we list at the end, and you do that 3 sets in total. That whole thing should probably only take you half an hour, but do factor in recovery as well. It's important that you take a little bit of rest between each exercise. If you race through them too quickly, you'll find that the quality of the movement goes out the window, technique becomes compromised. So nice and slow, concentrate on technique, and we'll develop them as we go. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed day 1. This is day 2. This one has a little bit more pace involved, there's a little bit more cardio, a little bit more explosive. Day 1 was kind of more strength based, and this one's more to try and develop multi-directional balance stuff and cardio. Low body position, jump up high, land soft, straight back into them. Press the position, core strong, walk your hands out, walk your hands back in. The next exercise we're going to do is a crunch. A lot of people do this one wrong, and the main thing they do wrong is they put too much pressure on their neck, or they do it too fast. And if you do it too fast, it's a really easy exercise and it's not very beneficial. Starting position on the floor, pressure back into the ground. Tense your upper abdominals, that's basically these guys just under your ribs. Hands here only to support your head, not to pull on your head. Crunch up until you feel a squeeze in your abdominals and back down slow. Keeping your eyes towards the ceiling the whole time. Breathing out as you go up. You can see if you do them properly, the muscles start to shake and contract. Here's a really easy exercise. It's just about balance and stability, very important. So we're going to stand on one leg. Obviously you'll be doing both. Standing position, put a little bend in the knee, arms out in front, rotate one way, nice and slow, and then rotate the other way, nice and slow. And we're going to try and do that exercise continuously for about 30 seconds. The next exercise is a tricep exercise. It's called a tricep dip. Takes a little bit of practice to get into the right position. It's very important when you're doing this exercise that your fingers are pointing the same direction as your feet, not pointing in the opposite direction. The hands, they go this way here. We bring our hips up in the air, bend the elbows, and then extend. Down and back up. Down and back up. And that's the tricep dip. The next exercise, we've done a plank already. This plank is a single leg plank. What usually happens when we do this exercise is that the whole body starts to fall out of position. So that's what we're going to try and avoid here. So we start with the plank that we're already happy with. Keeping our core nice and strong, then we're going to raise one leg just about an inch or two or a couple of centimeters just off the floor. And then we change and we go to the opposite leg, keeping your core and your tummy nice and strong. And back down. Mountain climber. Nice and explosive. The next exercise, we're going to do 2 in a row. We're going to go from a jump jack into high knee raise. We've all done these in classes before. It's just a little bit of cardio before we go back into all our strength work later on. So the jump jack, nice wide position, bring it back in, always with a soft landing, so don't drive your feet hard into the ground. Out and back. The final exercise in program 2 is the high knee raise. It's another exercise that a lot of people don't quite get right. I want you to really focus on driving your knees up high and bringing the arms in as well. So it's a sprinter exercise. So we start nice and soft, and then we get the knees up nice and high, and we bring the arms in as well. Again, as high as you can with the knees, working the arms in sequence with the legs. Enjoy program 2. This is a program that I'm sending out to you all, we're sending out to you all, that I really like us to try and do. We're in the middle of the season. This is a forced break, but at any stage we could be asked to get back and play matches. And this is the kind of stuff that if you do, and you do it a couple of times a week, it'll help to keep you fit, conditioned, and still getting the benefits from all the hard work you put in your pre-season.
Three, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, stop.
How you doing, everyone? Hope everyone's keeping well. So here's just a little drill you can do at home if you have 2 footballs, just to work on your kicking. So the first one, right hand, right foot, just kicking against the wall and catch. Kicking against the wall and catch. Then switch to the left hand, left foot, kicking against the wall and catch. So you can do that during the day, you can do it against the wall or do it with a friend, and a little challenge you can do is do it for a minute and see how many you can get.
Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, a green Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground.
So that's the end of the first video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope there's a few little useful hints and tips that you can take away and try yourself at home. In terms of the challenges, let's get involved. Please do give them a go. Challenge yourself, challenge your teammates, challenge your friends, challenge your family, and let's get people involved in this and we'll have a bit of crack with it. What we're going to do is we're going to put together some of the videos of people trying the challenges in the next video that we make, and we can all see how we're getting on. So if you want to be involved in that, video yourself trying some of the challenges. If you're over 18, send them in to me. My email address will be attached here below, and we'll get them included in the next video, so we'll have a bit of crack with it. The last thing I'll say is that it's really, really important as a club that we set a very, very good example going forward for the whole community and for the whole country. So if you're trying the challenges, or you're going out to kick a bit of ball, or you're going for a run, please let's make sure that we follow the rules that have been set out for us by the HSE and the government. The social distancing, hand washing and things like that, they do work, but they only work if everybody does it together. So as a club, we can set a good example and we can lead the way, and we can make sure that we're following all of these guidelines and that we come through this together. Very, very important. Guys, thanks very much if you made it to the end of the video. Appreciate that. Let me know what you think of my career as a YouTuber going forward. And we're looking forward to the next video already. Thanks a million, guys. Fins a boo. See you next time.